And welcome to another RSR. Today, we're reviewing England 0, USA 0 in the big World Cup Group B clash, the one we've been waiting for months. And it's a very, very roller coaster game without any goals. To be honest, it was a good game, I thought. I thought it was pretty enjoyable, especially the first half. Sadly, no goals. Sadly, not a goal fest. But USA gets a much-needed point that puts them in a position to qualify to the group stage with a win against Iran. Their fate is in their hands. England could still be knocked out of this tournament if they lose to Wales. Group B could be crazy on the final match day. We have a possible crazy group. But with that being said, halftime 0-0. The first half, the first 15 minutes, the USA should have been down 2-0. England has two big chances that they miss early on in the game. The first 15 minutes, they should have scored both. And luckily, the USA gets away with it. They sort of shoot themselves in the foot, England, / USA does some good defensive play to not make those chances score. And it's still 0-0. Then the next 30 minutes of the half, the U.S. starts going into the game. They start making offensive runs. They start playing forward, looking really good with forward play. And they have some chances that they missed that had they blew this game, lost it, end up scoring a goal, and then blowing it like they did against Wales, they would have not been able to sleep. They would have probably felt like crap had they lost this game or blown a win into a draw with the chances they missed. McKennie, Pulisic, off the bar. Some of those chances, they could have been up as well at the end of the half. Both teams could have easily been up at the end of the half. Sadly enough, neither of them are. It's 0-0. But the USA started to build back into the game after the 15th minute, the last 30 minutes of the half. It was about half and half after that point. England really dominated the first 15 minutes, but the half in the end ended up being half and half. Both teams have their moments. Both teams have their time. No goals. It's tied. The second half, still 0-0 at the end of it, at the end of the game. 4 minutes of stoppage time. This is probably the lowest amount of stoppage time I've seen overall in a World Cup game so far this year. Second half, U.S. kept their momentum. They kept pushing on early. It was their time. And they didn't score, but they kept pushing on. They looked good there. England's, they had a couple of moments, but they really, later on, when they started to make subs, they had some moments offensively, and then USA started to defend it. They accepted the draw. They were fine with it. If they hit on the counter, which they tried to do, that's what they were going for in the second half, especially late on around the 75th minute. England, though, but they sort of accepted the draw. They were happy with a draw because, again, a draw puts them in position to get out of the group with their destiny in their own hands. That's all they wanted at the very least. They needed at least a point out of this game. And the U.S. said, we're going to take that point because it was a chess match. This game was a chess match, so to speak. So at the end, it was 0-0. Stats are as follows. 8 shots to 10, 3 shots on goal to 1. 55% possession to 45% possession, 541 passes to 424, 87% pass accuracy to 84% pass accuracy, 9 fouls to 15, 1 offside to 1, 0 yellow cards to 0, 0 red cards to 0, 3 corners to 7 in this match. With this match, both teams, it was very even. Both teams had their moments. Both teams had better offensive time. Both teams had more defensive time. John Stones, defensively for England, had a pretty good match. Jordan Pickford did what he had to do when he was called upon. When he was called upon, he did what he had to do. For me, the front line, Harry Kane, actually, it was interesting how he played defense. Like, the man legitimately played defense. And there was a chance where he was in the box offensively. Offensively. And he was running like Bambi on ice. Luckily, that didn't end up getting scored. But Harry Kane had a pretty good game without scoring a goal, I gotta say. Bellingham looked pretty good. Declan Rice didn't make himself obvious, which is probably a good thing in this type of game. It's probably a good thing. England played pretty okay, frankly. I thought they were okay. They were nothing special. They played okay. They had their moments that you could really hold on to and be happy with. But they also didn't do enough. They didn't have any killer instinct. To me, how England fell off in these first two games is England was playing a team that they were definitely better than before the fact that Iran was going to silently protest their government and just give up and not play the match pretty much. So that's why England rolled them to a certain extent. But USA is a lot closer to England. It's a very similar group of players. England has a manager with a lot of great talent at his disposal that he doesn't really do well using when push comes to shove. Same with Greg Berhalter, except he does win trophies because CONCACAF is pretty easy besides Canada and Mexico. And Canada was just more recently. Won a Gold Cup and a Nations League, Berhalter. But same situation. Great young players that, when push comes to shove, saves Berhalter's ass a little bit more than Southgate's ass gets saved by his players. But still, in the end, doesn't really end well. It doesn't really end well for Berhalter either. It's two similar groups of players, and it was very interesting to see that dynamic play out. Because this kind of felt like anything you could do, I could do better match, as in a chess match. When England had their offensive moment, US buckled down, defended well, then they had their moment to be very offensive in this match, and England defended well as well. It happened basically once in each half. England had really two good spells. Offensively, the US had really two good, well, it was really a long one spell. 30 minutes of the first half, about the first 20, 25 of the second half, I would say. But that was basically one spell besides halftime. It was pretty much one spell. But you could say two if you want to. But since the second half had a bit of it. But again, the U.S. had a really good attacking spell encompassing both halves. England was the bookends of it. But they had their moments. But U.S. defended well when they weren't attacking, and England defended well when they weren't attacking. And I thought the U.S. was actually better on the counter. I thought the U.S. was actually better on the counter than England was in this game. I really do. I know there's no goals to speak of it, but I think U.S. had more pace. They had better ball play in the final third than England did. England, I just don't really see it, though. I didn't really see anything that wowed me besides the first 15 minutes. I didn't see it. The U.S. overall in the game, when they had the ball, Pulisic over the bar, but that was some great play. Tim Weah is an absolute immense player. He is a revelation, Tim Weah. I didn't expect him to be this good for the USA, but I think he's super underrated, frankly. I think Tim Weah's underrated. Like, I know he's good. I've been watching Lille when he plays with Jonathan David. But Jonathan David is the better player. Tim Weah might be closer than I thought. And he might be just very underrated for the USA. He's definitely a good player. With that being said, Weston McKennie made some good offensive runs. Serginho Dest burns down the wing because he's damn fast. One of the reasons why he's my dad's favorite player. We'll play with that. We'll go with that reference. Serginho Dest is fast. He burnt down the wing. Basically, the U.S. got on it more. They got after it more. They had more fire. They had more heart. Because they had something to prove after that Wales game. You look at the difference of those draws. Wales was a heartbreaker. They should have won that in a runaway. This game, USA, I think they were the better team, slightly. The stats don't really say that, but I think overall performance-wise, they were better. They still should have won 1-0. This could also have been 2-1, 2-2, 2-1 England, 2-2. I think that would have been a lot more of a fair result, but again, it was a draw anyway. I think USA should have won this. I really do think the USA should have won this, though. 1-0, 2-1. I think it could have been 2-1 either way. I think USA should have won this game. I really do. I think they were the better team, slightly. I think England was a little bit too cocky, and it bit them. It bit them, and luckily it didn't bite them too much because they still got a point. They still got a 0-0 draw out of it. But England's definitely... They're a definitely weird bipolar bunch, aren't they, when it comes to football, aren't they? They're a very weird bipolar bunch. That it just doesn't make any sense. Like, at this point, it doesn't make any rational sense how they're so bipolar in their performances. It really doesn't. I mean, Gareth Southgate, but, you know, it doesn't really make any sense how bipolar they are in their performances. It's really legitimately a fascinating thing. Do I like England? No. Do I like seeing this happen? Yes. But is it very fascinating that this does happen? Yeah, it is. It is. For me, it is. I don't know if it is for other people, but I like looking down deeper into things, of course. That's why I'm here. So it is really, really weird. I mean, USA were the better team. This wasn't as much of a barn burner as they were putting this over to be for the past 8 months, but still, and I don't know if this got any new football fans in the USA. I don't think it did that job, but still a pretty good game if you actually love the sport of football. If you're just watching as a casual, I don't think it did anything for you. Sadly enough. I kind of feel a little bit cheated, to be honest, and I love football. I kind of feel a little bit cheated that this game didn't do what it was supposed to, but I'll take a draw for the USA. Good draw for them. They have their destiny in their hands in match day 3. That's all you want. That's all you want, so that's good. With that being said, that's where I'll leave it. I can't believe I got 12 minutes out of a 0-0 draw, but there you go. I hope it's worth it. With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow for a live watch-along of France versus Denmark. A live watch-along of Argentina versus Mexico. And a review of Argentina versus Mexico. We got 2 tomorrow. 2 lives, 1 review, 3 pieces of content tomorrow. Hopefully, it does numbers, and this does too. I'll see you then. I'm Ryan, and I'm out. Peace. Good job, USA. Good match. Peace.